What do you do when an unexpected distraction interrupts your peace? Does it throw you off balance, or can you use it as an opportunity to find stillness? Welcome to the Motivation Zone at Freedom. Life is full of distractions, and sometimes they can seem impossible to ignore. But what if I told you that the key to true peace isn't about eliminating distractions, but learning how to respond to them with mindfulness? Today, we're going to explore a powerful Buddhist teaching that shows us how to remain calm and centered, no matter what's going on around us. Join me as we uncover the art of turning distractions into moments of clarity and peace. In our fast-paced world, distractions are all around us, whether it's the ringing of a phone, a noisy environment, or even our own thoughts that pull us away from the present moment. We often find ourselves frustrated when these distractions break our focus, especially during practices like meditation, where stillness and quiet are essential. But what if these distractions could be a part of the practice instead of something to resist? What if, instead of fighting against the noise, we could find peace within it? Today, we're going to explore a story that holds a profound lesson about mindfulness, detachment, and the nature of distractions. It comes from the Buddhist tradition and shows us how our relationship with external events determines whether they disturb us or not. This simple story of a student and his master offers a transformative perspective on handling distractions in our meditation and our lives. So, dear friends, one day, a student was deep in meditation at the temple when the sound of the bell rang. It was loud and clear, cutting through the silence of his concentration. Immediately, he felt his focus shattered and frustration rose within him. He turned to his master, feeling disturbed by the sound, and complained, "Master, the bell is distracting me. How can I meditate with such noise?" The master, instead of offering sympathy, calmly responded with a deep lesson. If the bell is in your mind, remove it. If your mind is in the bell, let it ring. At first, these words might sound puzzling. How could the bell be in the student's mind? And what did the master mean by letting the bell ring? This short exchange holds a profound teaching about how we perceive and react to distractions. The sound of a bell is not the problem. It is the student's attachment to the idea that meditation must occur in complete silence that causes his disturbance. This story, the bell sound, reveals a deep truth about mindfulness. The real source of disturbance is not the external world, but our response to it. It challenges us to examine how we interact with the noise and chaos around us, inviting us to reflect on how often we resist life's natural rhythm instead of embracing it. Whether it's the sound of a bell or the daily challenges we face, the key is not to avoid distractions, but to let them flow through us with a calm, undisturbed mind. When we think of distractions, we often view them as external forces, loud noises, interruptions, or anything that takes us away from our focus. But the real source of distraction lies not in the external world, but in our internal response to it. In the story of the bell, the sound itself is neutral. It's simply a sound, something that happens in the world. The disturbance, however, arises because of the student's reaction to it. His attachment to the expectation of silence during meditation makes him view the bell as something disruptive. In Buddhism, this insight is deeply connected to the idea that suffering is not caused by external events, but by our responses to those events. The bell ringing is not inherently disturbing. It is the student's attachment to the idea that meditation must occur in complete silence that causes his dissatisfaction. The true nature of distraction lies in how we react to what is happening around us. If we accept something as it is, without judgment or resistance, it no longer has the power to disturb us. This concept is central to Buddhist philosophy. External events are neutral, but our attachment to them, whether it's attachment to silence, comfort, or even the expectation of how things should be, creates suffering. In meditation, as in life, the key is not to resist what is happening, but to acknowledge it without clinging to it. The bell's sound, in this case, becomes a perfect metaphor for how we interact with life's distractions. When we let go of our attachment to the idea that things should be different, we begin to experience the world with a sense of calm and equanimity. The student's dissatisfaction with the bell illustrates this well. His meditation practice is disrupted not by the sound, but by his attachment to the belief that meditation requires a specific environment. The lesson here is clear. When we hold on to rigid expectations, we create unnecessary suffering. It's not the bell that disturbs us, it's our clinging to silence that causes the disturbance. By releasing this attachment, we open ourselves up to peace, no matter what external distractions arise. Dear friends, now we come to the second part of the Master's teaching, which is just as profound. If your mind is in the bell, let it ring. This is where the Master invites the student to completely shift his approach. Instead of fighting or resisting the bell's sound, the student is encouraged to fully embrace it and integrate it into his practice. This teaching is about acceptance, not of external distractions, but of the experience itself. Rather than seeing the bells ringing as something that disturbs his meditation, the student is now taught to let the bell become a part of his mindfulness practice. When we practice meditation, we often encounter external phenomena, whether it's the sound of a bell, the rustling of leaves, or even the hum of a busy street. Our natural tendency might be to resist these distractions, hoping for silence so we can focus. However, dear friends, the Master's words challenge us to move beyond this resistance. Instead of wanting the bell to stop, the student is invited to use the sound as a focal point for his meditation. In this way, the bell is no longer seen as an interruption, but as an opportunity to deepen mindfulness. This teaching beautifully aligns with the practice of vipassana, or insight meditation. In vipassana, the goal is not to manipulate or control the experience, but to observe it as it is, without judgment, attachment, or interference. The student, in this case, can meditate on the bell's sound, its beginning, its end, and the way it resonates in the air. He is taught to be fully present with the sound, to observe its impermanence. Just as the bell rings and fades away, so too do all experiences. They are fleeting and transient. Dear friends, the lesson here is about non-duality. There's no separation between the meditator and the object of meditation. Whether it's the bell, a thought, or the breath, everything is interconnected in the flow of experience. When we become one with the object of our meditation, we no longer see ourselves as separate from it. We are simply experiencing the present moment as it is, without trying to change it or resist it. This realization is key to true mindfulness. The meditator and the meditation are not two separate things, but part of the same continuous flow of awareness. By embracing the bell's sound, rather than resisting it, the student becomes more deeply connected with the present moment. He is no longer disturbed by it because he has fully accepted it as part of his experience. This is the essence of mindfulness, not fighting the world, but accepting it and observing it with a calm and clear mind. Through this acceptance, we transcend the duality of what is good and bad, learning to embrace each moment, just as it is.
Dear friends, now let's dive into one of the most profound teachings in Buddhism, the middle way. This teaching is all about finding balance, not clinging to one extreme nor rejecting another. In the story of the bell, the student's frustration arises from his attachment to the idea that meditation must happen in perfect silence, under ideal conditions. But the Master's response is a powerful reminder that true meditation is not dependent on silence, comfort, or any external factors. It's about maintaining awareness and equanimity no matter what is happening around us. So often, we get caught up in the idea that meditation requires a specific set of conditions, a quiet room, a peaceful environment, and no distractions. We think that only in these ideal circumstances can we find true focus and inner peace. But dear friends, the essence of meditation is not about creating a perfect environment. It's about cultivating a mind that remains steady, regardless of the circumstances. Whether the bell rings, a car passes by, or a thought arises, meditation is about staying present with it all without attachment, without aversion. This is the heart of the middle way. It's the path between the extremes of seeking perfect silence and rejecting the distractions that naturally arise. True meditation is not about clinging to silence or resisting noise. It's about observing whatever is present with equanimity. When we can maintain this balance, when we are not disturbed by external conditions and can accept them as part of the practice, we experience the true peace that meditation offers. Dear friends, the lesson here is clear. Equanimity, not silence, is the essence of meditation. In fact, the true power of meditation lies in our ability to remain calm and focused even when external conditions are far from perfect. Whether the environment is quiet or noisy, whether we are sitting in peace or facing challenges, our practice is to observe without judgment, to remain steady, and to cultivate inner peace in all circumstances. The middle way invites us to let go of our attachments to ideal conditions and embrace the present moment as it is. Through this, we cultivate a deep, unwavering sense of calm and awareness that transcends the fluctuations of life. Dear friends, the story of the bell isn't just a lesson for our meditation practice. It's a profound teaching that can be applied to every aspect of our lives. In the story, the bell symbolizes the external challenges and distractions we encounter daily. Just as the bell's sound interrupted the student's meditation, life is full of unexpected moments that can disrupt our peace, whether it's an argument, a work deadline, or a difficult situation. The bell is a metaphor for the challenges that arise in our lives, often when we least expect them. Life will always present distractions or difficulties. The bell will ring. It's inevitable. We cannot control when or where these challenges will arise, just as the student could not control when the bell would sound. But the key, dear friends, is how we respond to these challenges. The student's initial reaction was to resist the bell, just as we often resist life's interruptions. We may wish for a perfect, calm environment, but we cannot avoid the noise and chaos of the world. Instead, we can learn to face these distractions with mindfulness and detachment, just as the Master teaches. By practicing mindfulness, we can observe external challenges without becoming overwhelmed by them. We don't need to push them away, nor do we need to become consumed by them. Just as the student was taught to let the bell ring and integrate it into his practice, we can integrate life's challenges into our awareness without allowing them to disturb our peace. Mindfulness helps us remain present with whatever is happening, and detachment allows us to let go of any attachment to how things should be, freeing us from the suffering caused by resistance. Dear friends, the lesson here is powerful. The ability to respond with calmness and awareness, regardless of circumstances, is the key to true peace. Life will always bring its challenges, but our ability to face them with equanimity, not clinging, not rejecting, is what gives us the strength to remain undisturbed. Whether the bell rings loudly or quietly, or not at all, we can choose how to respond. And in doing so, we cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace that transcends the external noise of life. Dear friends, as we come to the end of this lesson, let's take a moment to reflect on the deep wisdom shared by Lord Buddha, who gifted the world with the philosophy of mindfulness and balance. The teachings of the Buddha remind us that true peace does not come from controlling external events or seeking ideal conditions. Instead, it comes from transforming our internal response to life's circumstances. Buddha showed us how to live in harmony with the world around us, embracing both joy and suffering with equanimity, and how to cultivate a balanced mind for good health, clarity, and inner peace. The story of the bell teaches us that the source of peace lies not in manipulating the world to fit our desires, but in how we respond to what is already present. Distractions, challenges, and interruptions will always arise. They are a natural part of life. But liberation comes when we can observe these moments with mindfulness, without attachment or judgment. By practicing non-attachment, we free ourselves from the suffering that arises from clinging to how things should be. Whether the bell rings loudly or remains silent, Peace lies in our ability to stay present and undisturbed by whatever arises. Liberation lies in observing life with non-attachment, without judgment or disdain, no matter what arises. It is through mindfulness and detachment that we find the freedom to navigate the world with balance and clarity, just as Lord Buddha taught us. I invite you, dear friends, to reflect on how you respond to distractions in your life. Are you allowing them to control your mind, or are you embracing them as part of your practice? Consider how you can integrate mindfulness into your daily routine, whether it's during your meditation or even during something as simple as your exercise routine. Mindfulness can help you remain grounded, no matter what external noise is happening around you. As we wrap up today's lesson, let's reaffirm the power of mindfulness and detachment in achieving true inner peace. Life will continue to present distractions, but the key to peace lies in how we relate to those distractions. By observing them with mindfulness, without attachment, we find ourselves at ease, no matter what arises. Whether the bell rings or not, peace lies in the ability to observe without attachment. Thank you for joining me today at the Motivation Zone at Freedom. May you carry this lesson with you and cultivate the peace that comes from within.